Hello there. Welcome to Studio Raphael. My name's Aiden, and today we're going to be talking about the mental box and how that relates to both the ego as well as knowledge. Let's get into it. Alright, basically what happens is that through the ego, the mind creates a limited sense of identity. Well, what does that mean? Throughout your lifetime, your ego develops. You become identified with the idea of yourself as a person that then has to die. At some point, this ego is going to come to an end. This is a limited way of seeing life, this is a limited way of seeing yourself, and ultimately this is a mental box. Basically what you're doing is creating a construct of reality. You're creating an idea using your mind of who you are through identification means. These can include the country you're born in, your name. This can also include your occupation. This can include the systems that you live in. Basically anything that is communicated or can be communicated verbally is also tied to your mental box. Now, maybe a good way of looking at this is in our perspective of the world. We can safely assume that about 100 to 200 years from now, society will not be the same as it is right now. Life and society and the world are constantly evolving. Things are never really stagnant, and change is basically the only thing in life that we can guarantee. This means that for us to assume that reality is permanent rather than simply an infinite expression is us putting ourselves in a box of what reality is. Seeing life, seeing society, seeing the world as something that is limited to a singular definition puts us in a mental box of how we are to express ourselves, how we are to exist in life, and how we are to go about creating our realities. By agreeing to a certain set of ways that life technically is in our current form of reality, we are putting ourselves in a box and saying, this is life, this is how we experience it, this is all it is. And if that's the case, then we can never really expand. We can never see outside of that, and we're stuck. We're stuck in a loop, we're stuck in identity, we're stuck in an idea of who we are and how life keeps perpetuating itself. Well, this is also related to knowledge. My belief is that we are not the creators of knowledge. We are constantly reaching out into life, into the universe, into our minds. We are discovering from our minds the infinite potential and grounding those things into reality through our bodies. Therefore, no matter what we express, no matter what we share, life in itself is already the infinite nature, and all we're doing is grounding in those aspects of reality. Thus, it's really impossible for life to simply be one thing. It's impossible for us to view life within a box for longer than a certain period of time, because life in itself is not a finite expression. Life and your mind and your expression cannot be put into a box because these things are infinite. But when we take on the idea of the ego, when we take on the idea of our knowledge, when we take on the idea of ourselves, we become limited in who we are. We start to believe I am A, B, C, and X, Y, and Z, and that is what defines me, and when I die, then I don't know. In releasing the mental box and escaping the mental box, in seeing outside of it and finding a larger perspective of awareness, what we're able to do is reconnect back to that infinite. We're able to reconnect back with that space of the mind not being attached to the body, not being attached to the person, not being attached to the identity, but simply existing as that pure state of awareness and as that state of mind. There is no box because there is no identity. It is simply being the infinite. When you let go of the idea that you have the knowledge, when you let go of the idea that you are the person, and instead you only connect or at least relate to the fact that you are conscious, then there is no attachment to the knowledge. There is no attachment to the ego. There's no attachment to a mental box and an idea of life, because you understand and know within you that inherently you're an infinite being. So that is getting out of the mental box. That is how the ego and knowledge tie into it. If there's anything else that I can answer or that you'd love to have a discussion about, I would love to as well. So yeah, like, comment, subscribe. I look forward to hearing what you have to share. I'm interested to dive deeper into conversations about this. My name's Aiden. Thanks for tuning in to Studio Raphael. I look forward to continue this process of learning, exploring, growing, discovering, and reconnecting to that space of oneness. So yeah, thanks for tuning in. Wishing you well. All the best, and I'll see you around the studio sometime. Take care.